Hello, everybody. Welcome to Talk About Houses. I'm Todd.
I'm Oana.
We are going to talk about the costs involved with real estate investing.
Yes.
So this is part of a series of videos we're going to do about investing in real estate, building wealth, things like that.
I like it.
Okay. So the first cost, and we're not going to talk about the cost to buy the house.
Right.
That's an equity investment. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about the costs. These are things you tend to not necessarily get back, right? They're costs. The first one is the acquisition fee.
Right. So this is part of the cost of doing business. So what does it cost you to buy the property? So things like maybe if you're getting a mortgage, things like your loan fees, your escrow fees, any transfer fees, then other fees like appraisals, inspections, all that sort of thing.
Yep. The next cost would be real estate commissions.
Yes. So if you are purchasing a property, chances are that the real estate commission is paid on the seller side. So chances are do not have a cost per se on your side. Of course, everybody gets paid out of the proceeds of the sale, and that is your money, obviously in the kitty. However, that tends to not be your cost. Sometimes that can be your cost. So let me give you an example. Let's say, for example, that you would like to purchase a property either from a private seller, so not through using a listing, or maybe you want to purchase a property from a new home builder that does not pay your realtor a commission. So under those circumstances, you may owe a commission, particularly if you have a buyer-broker agreement. So you may have to compensate the realtor that's helping you through the process for that person's services. Generally speaking, that is money well spent because this person has helped you find the right property, negotiated, and has done a lot of work on your behalf up to helping you all the way through closing.
The next cost is one that both long-term investors and flippers both understand. Cost of repairs.
Cost of repairs. So repairs, especially when you have the property rented out, minor repairs, so say for example, removing hair from a clogged pipe or something like that. Those are minor repairs, and a lot of times, depending on who's managing the property and on the lease agreement, that can be a tenant cost. However, major repairs, things like washer, dryer, refrigerator, stove, roof, major plumbing, hot water heater, those are all major repairs, and those are the burden of the property owner.
Another cost would be potentially HOA.
HOA. So if you have an HOA, then obviously that's something that you have to pay for. That is not something that the tenant pays for separately. The tenant,
usually not.
Usually not. The tenant usually pays a global rental amount, and then out of that you pay all the different things like property taxes, HOA, special improvement districts, whatever comes with it.
Yeah, and then some of those HOA fees are paid like at purchase. You have some extra junk fees or whatever you call them. There's a transfer fee and some other crazy stuff, and then they're ongoing.
Correct.
Ongoing fees. Okay.
So HOAs are paid either monthly or quarterly. Sometimes they're annually, but most HOAs bill either monthly or quarterly.
The next cost of investing in real estate would be the insurance.
Insurance. So there are three kinds of insurance. So let's start with the first one. The most important one is the hazard insurance. So this is the insurance if the house burns down, you get made whole by the insurance company. If somebody trips and falls, that covers your liability and that sort of thing. The second insurance is the tenant's insurance. So when you rent out a property, you should have in your lease agreement that the tenant is supposed to have renter's insurance and add you as an additional insured, so that if again somebody trips and falls and they sue, then you're covered under the tenant's policy. And the third type of insurance is a home warranty, which is a type of insurance policy as well. The two insurance policies out of those three that are the responsibility of the homeowner would be the hazard insurance, which is a non-negotiable as far as I'm concerned. And then the optional insurance is that home warranty insurance. The tenant's insurance policy is separate, and the tenant pays for that.
The next one would be property taxes.
Okay, so property taxes. Your local property tax assessor wants their money, and that's something that a property owner pays. Okay, that's not something a tenant pays, that's something the property owner pays. And you want to be the one to pay it for a couple of reasons. One, because it's part of your cost of doing business, and two, because if those property taxes are not paid, then your property gets liened and you can get foreclosed on by your local tax levying authority.
We're going to talk about a different type of special tax. They sometimes are called SIDS or LIDs, Special or Limited Improvement District. In California, they call them Mello-Roos taxes. They're additional taxes. And what are they all about?
So they usually have to do with particularly newer subdivisions, right, where they've had to put in new roads, street lights, sewer, and that sort of thing. So they'll charge you what's called a special improvement district, or Mello-Roos in California, or a limited improvement district, and that is a tax for a certain amount of time. Those taxes vary anywhere from a couple $1,000s to tens of thousands of dollars. I think the highest one I've seen was over $100,000. That was on a large piece of property, because it is commensurate with your property value and with the size of your property. So if you have a smaller property, your special improvement district tax will be lower, just as if you have a bigger property, it will be larger.
It's not how big your property is, it's how you use it.
Exactly.
Okay. What about how the property manager makes money? Some fees there, right?
Yes. So property managers have to make money too, because as much as we love our clients, we are also very well accustomed to eating on a regular basis and paying our bills.
Yep, and it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Right. So property managers make money several different ways. They will make money through a percentage of the rent. So for example, some property managers just charge you a percentage of the rent as far as their property management fees. Some charge you a monthly fee regardless of whether or not the property is occupied.
Yep.
Then they also have other fees in there for different services that they may offer. So that is a cost that is part of your cost of doing business as a property owner of an investment property.
What about improvements to the home?
Improvements. So improvements are a really important thing. And the reason they are important is because they not only maintain the value of the home, but they keep the home current and desirable, right? So here's an example for you. If you're planning to keep this property for some time, you want to make sure that you're budgeting for things like replacing flooring, replacing maybe countertops over time, replacing maybe or repainting or something like that, or refinishing cabinets. And of course, things like repainting the interior, repainting the exterior. Those are not necessarily repairs, because those are not necessarily things that are broken, but those are things that make a house look dated. So you want your home or your investment property to not look dated. If a property looks well kept, it looks up to date, it will rent for more money, it will rent faster, and that actually equates to more money in your pocket over the long term.
Okay, the last one is similar to repairs and improvements. It's just maintenance.
Right.
Yep.
So it is super important that you maintain the property, right? So that means, again, talking about things like cosmetic things like, paint and that kind of thing, but also, keep in mind other maintenance items. So for example, refreshing landscaping. So this is different than your, periodic landscaping. Let's talk about maybe redoing the landscaping. If you live in an area where it used to be popular to have lawns, but it's now more popular to have desert landscaping or artificial grass, that might be something to consider. If you need to maybe have your trees trimmed, that's beyond the scope of what a tenant should be doing. You really do not want your tenant climbing a ladder and trimming trees. That is a huge liability for you. It's just not worth it. If you live in Las Vegas and you have 30-foot tall palm trees, same thing. You certainly don't want that tenant climbing that palm tree to trim it. So, those are different costs of owning the property that you as the owner of the property want to bear those costs so that those jobs are done right. your property is well maintained, so it remains desirable. You don't have HOA violations. And you also want to make sure that your tenant is not engaging in activities to keep up the home that could put them in danger of getting hurt, because then that becomes a huge liability for you, and you just don't need that.
Yeah, and all of these costs are really, you can't really skip them. You know, if you don't pay taxes, the county or government is going to take your house. If you don't pay your HOA, in Nevada and California, states like that, they're going to take your house. If you don't make repairs, if you don't keep doing maintenance and improvements and things, you're going to have this depreciating asset. You really don't want to have that. The other thing too you're going to have is the house doesn't look good, you're going to get less in rent. So it does affect how much revenue you can get from the house. And of course, if you don't pay your insurance and the tenant burns it down, you know, you're probably out of house potentially.
Right. And you know, don't think that it can't happen to you. It happens all the time. So we greatly encourage you to not skip any of these steps, because it is about really taking good care of this investment that you've made. Stewardship of your investment is very important.
It is. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, thank you very much. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you have any comments or any other videos that you want to see, just let us know.
Absolutely. See you on the next video.
Okay, bye.
Bye.